I'm a big fan of rabbit holes. I climb down them all the time. It is what I waste basically all of my life doing. I find some weird, interesting thing and I go down that hole. It's one of the reasons that I know what every flag in the world looks like. I'm not a particularly big vexillologist. I'm not Sheldon Cooper having fun with flags. I just have gone down so many different geographic rabbit holes and stared at Google Maps for so long and played FIFA World Cup video games for so long that I know all of them. I am a collector of obscure knowledge. I use all of this available storage space to collect as much stupid information as possible. But, not all of the time is the information I'm collecting also stupid. But I am now so far down the rabbit hole of the purchase of third-tier Scottish side Inverness Caledonian Thistle that I don't even know if I can see the sun anymore. And I want to take you down into this rabbit hole with me, because if you haven't seen the first video we did on this purchase, it's fucking crazy. It has to do with some guy named Catan McWanna. And what has happened between the last time that we talked about Catan McWanna and his 77 Ventures that seems to be loosely modeled after Entertainment 720 from Parks and Recreation, he decided to post on Instagram, or not Instagram. He's posted a couple of times on LinkedIn. Now, I usually avoid LinkedIn. It is, in my opinion, the most self-important of all the social media. Of course, it has a purpose to play, but anybody that is regularly posting on LinkedIn gives me a natural... it instills me with a natural fear, which I feel like is some sort of evolved response that has allowed our ancestors to survive without being B2B sales pitched to death, right? Like that's how you made it from, that's why the Neanderthals died out. They kept reading LinkedIn posts all day trying to perfect their B2B sales, and then they were unable to focus on other crucial things like food and shelter and water, right? The evolved response here is to just be creeped out by people that post on LinkedIn all the time. And fortunately, Catan McWanna fits into the mold of the person that I thought he was based off of the stuff we were reading the first time we talked about this purchase, and he is one of those people that apparently posts on LinkedIn all the time. I'll give you the spark notes if you aren't caught up on the lore. I do recommend watching the full video because I'm able to go into a lot more detail and get more sources than trust me, bro. But basically, this guy runs a company that is just him. According to public records, he has been the director of a bunch of other small dissolved companies. He is the director of company or companies that have like crypto in the title. And if you look at the assets listed of those companies, it's like literally negative amounts of money. Absolutely not the type of company that you would want to see buying a football club, particularly a football club in Inverness that just got relegated to the third division, is in a bit of a free fall, and as a result is in significant financial distress, right? And we've seen that go sideways for clubs like Bordeaux recently, and this guy steps in, and Inverness has already announced that essentially the purchase is completed. So now that you're caught up, we can get to Catan's side of the story. This was posted 1 day ago on LinkedIn, and it is worth reading in its entirety, because at no point does it disappoint at all. He titles it, like any good LinkedIn poster would, why sometimes giving up is more important than pushing on, which, any good LinkedIn post is going to start with something that sounds like the title of some knockoff TED Talk that's being given at the local community center, right? And then we go into it. Those of you that know me, which is apparently nobody, by the way, and my quest to become a football club owner would know that this is something that I have been besotted with for the last 3 to 4 years. So according to a quick Google search, besotted is actually being used appropriately in that sentence, but it also, in archaic English, means intoxicated or drunk. It also means strongly infatuated. But I prefer the intoxicated or drunk approach to this. So he has been drunk in his pursuit, intoxicated by his pursuit of being a football club owner over the last 3 or 4 years, which is not in itself an unusual thing to say, right? People that end up owning clubs like Sir Jim Ratcliffe of Manchester United, right? They are into the idea of owning clubs, maybe even a particular club, for a long time. It's everything else after this that gets weird. My ambition is to revolutionize the way football clubs are operated and increase sustainable revenues that get reinvested into the club for prosperity. I'm going to be honest. I've read this entire post, and I have also explored the, whatever it is, Entertainment 720 website. Sorry, the 77 Ventures Limited website. This dude is a master of saying the least amount of things with the most amount of words. Whatever the opposite of brevity is, this guy has it. He has a gift for it. He can say absolutely nothing in a 500-page paperback book that you're forced to read for English class. You can glean zero things. Because while you might think this being the second sentence, you would think he's going to discuss how he is going to revolutionize the way football clubs are operated and maybe discuss how he's going to increase sustainable revenues that could reinvest in the club for prosperity, which, by the way, is the goal of basically everybody that owns a football club ever. That doesn't sound in itself like some sort of revolutionary idea. Like, football clubs are not normally supposed to be sustainable. Like, every other football club's got an expiration date, like the milk at the back of the fridge. Like, Arsenal hasn't existed for over 100 years. Like, that's not an example of a sustainably run football club, and it's somehow revolutionary to suggest that you are going to create a sustainably run football. It's like he's reaching for buzzwords. Like, he's just trying to play into something that has to do with, like the climate crisis or something. Like, we're going to build a sustainable club. We're going to buy woods in the Highlands and then pretend we're offsetting carbon emissions. Anyways, I tried endlessly, club after club, trying to persuade the owners to align to my vision. I'm sorry, that just creeps me out. But either they were too short-sighted or driven by the money. I mean, I'm sorry, the previous sentence you just wrote was talking about sustainable revenues that get reinvested into the club. I mean, that you're not necessarily not about the money here, because the point you just made in the second sentence of this whole diatribe is talking about how you're going to create a sustainable financial future. You're not about the money. I'm sorry, you're in it for the love of the game. Brother, you don't have enough money to be in it for the love of the game. It's not possible for you, according to all the public records for Entertainment 720 that you're running here. This is like the guy that's been at the bar for 7 hours and keeps striking out, and it's 4 a.m. and he just insists that, every girl that didn't want to talk to him at the bar just didn't see the vision. Like, at a certain point, if you strike out that many times, it's you, it's not them. Okay, it becomes less and less likely each time you strike out in this situation that the problem is the clubs not understanding the vision, that it might just be your vision, perhaps, maybe, a little bit. After 6 failed attempts, nice, I decided it was time to give up the search. Just as I put down my adventure stick, weird, but okay, Paul Nelson got in touch and told me to check out Inverness. And of course, I had to go over to Paul Nelson's page. He's somebody that calls himself a strategic leader, driving high performance and sustainable success. He's been a former, at least he's worked in football. He's been a former technical director at the Bentley Greens soccer club. He worked as a finance transformation program director at a company called Telstra. He was the managing director at St. Prex Consulting. And now he's the general secretary of UEFA AAA. He's like he's the secretary general of UEFA AAA's alumni board. I don't necessarily know what that means, but this is somebody that at least exists in the world of football. And according to Ketan Makwana, got in touch with him about a third-tier team in Scotland, and maybe, hey, you should check out Inverness. And we continue. I couldn't find anything on this club, so I was going to drop the chase, but then I thought, who would know something about anything? Let me call my main man, Laurie Pinto. This is maybe the most alarming sentence in the entire thing, because I'm just a random fucking American dude that's played a few FIFA video games, played a lot of Football Manager. You could have asked 12-year-old me, and just based off of my random ramblings on the Fox Soccer channel when we had the full cable package growing up, I could have told you who Inverness, Caledonian Thistle was. And yet, Ketan Makwana, who by his own admission has tried endlessly, club after club, to try and persuade a club that he should be their owner, doesn't know who Inverness, Caledonian Thistle is, right? Inverness won the Scottish Cup in 2015, 9 years ago. There was a time in very recent living memory where Inverness was an incredibly relevant top-flight Scottish team that would have been able to step on the field with Celtic and Rangers if they were happened to be there at the time and give them a good old game. Inverness, like, I can't stress this enough. I knew who Inverness was in middle school. And this guy, who's apparently been obsessed with being a club owner, is also apparently not knowledgeable about, like, look, I generally don't think that having that, like, specific, super high level, kind of trivia-like ball knowledge is necessary to be, like, a great manager or to be a great player or to be a great owner. But there's a difference between having that super high level ball knowledge where if if somebody goes like name the 2002 Real Madrid starting 11 and you can't do it. There's a difference between that and just knowing a club exists that, I don't know, you're trying to buy. And also, you couldn't find anything on the club. Somebody contacts me, and maybe I don't think this guy is one of those people. Maybe you're somebody that has the resources to buy a club like Inverness, Caledonian, Thistle. Well, then you just Google Inverness, Caledonian, Thistle. What do you mean you couldn't find anything? You couldn't find anything on the club? Are you using Bing? What the fuck is wrong with you? I couldn't find anything on the, like, do you know how to work the internet, or do you think that the entirety of the internet is just LinkedIn? Within hours, I had a plethora of intel and was introduced to John Caledonian. Now look, I'm gonna stop here. The only reason I'm pointing this out is because you're trying to show off by using words like plethora for no reason. Look, I went to school too. I know what the word plethora means, but there's a time and a place to use a word like plethora, and it's probably not right after you forget to capitalize an I, hotshot. Within days, I was speaking to Scott Gardner, and within weeks, I was presenting my vision for entertainment, leisure, and sports. What the fuck, dude? This is a third division Scottish team. The entertainment is the people watching at the game. The leisure is the fact that maybe you will have a half-decent cement or plastic seat to sit in, but you will be standing against the rail for most of the match. And the sports, it's going to be 4-4-2 with a couple of big lads up top that you're kicking the ball towards. There is nothing entertainment, leisure, and sports, all which are capitalized, by the way. There is nothing entertainment, leisure, and sports about owning a third division club. The only takeaway I can get from reading something like that is this guy believes, and he's talked about this in another post. I don't think it's in this post, but he's talked about this in, was it a tweet, or I think it might have been in a statement he released. Honestly, I'm so far down this rabbit hole, I don't even know where this stuff is, about how like he was inspired by Rob Reynolds and Ryan McElhaney, or Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhaney. I think I jammed them together there. Like he is envisioning that somehow him taking over Inverness, Caledonian, Thistle is going to like be great for him too. First of all, those guys have the money to run the club that they're buying. We'll start there. And rather amazingly, for actors, they seem to actually run successful businesses, which is not something that you can say either based off of every publicly available piece of information that I can glean. So clearly, when you read stuff like that, you know that this guy in his own mind thinks that it's going to kind of go the same way and he's going to descend upon them like a game-changing savior. And then exactly 7 weeks from starting a process, we achieved a result. God, it sounds like he's writing an academic paper all of a sudden. But I firmly believe I had to give up to push on. Today we made the news on BBC Sports. I mean, yeah, this guy honestly is probably really enjoying the number of times that I'm saying his name based off of how focused he seems to be on gloating about what he's achieved and the notoriety that has potentially gained him. Hey, I was interviewed by BBC. It doesn't mean fucking shit. They were really nice, and I really enjoyed, talking to those people. They referred to me as a professional gamer in a news article, which is something that I still use as like a joke business card, but it also doesn't matter at all. It doesn't mean anything other than the fact that it's kind of a cool experience. You don't derive any personal value from the fact that BBC Sports probably ran an article that literally just listed the statement of, I'm going to look it up. That's totally what they did. Yeah, that's what they did. This is the article. This is the article he's referring to. It's the only thing I can find. It is how many words exactly if we include the top? That's 159 words. It's 159 words, and he just feels the need to say, today we made the news on BBC Sports. And then he goes on to list his personal thanks to all of the people that were involved in this deal. He thanks Paul Nelson, you understood my vision and found me the opportunity. Again, we have no idea what the vision is other than the words entertainment, leisure, and sports. And he ends it with, now it's my turn to show you what the power of innovation can do. Look, this is insane. This is beyond crazy, and I still can't believe that this is real. And people are calling him out on it. Even on LinkedIn, people are calling him out on it. A proper statement to fans is needed to state your intentions. How much is being invested? Where is it coming from? Fans, rightly so, have some concerns. A quick search shows that it doesn't fill everybody with confidence. Find it very odd you say you couldn't find anything on the club when we won the Scottish Cup in 2015, obviously. This guy's claiming his previous comment was deleted because he was sassing him. This guy is throwing up so many red flags that anyone who pays any sort of attention to Scottish football has seen plenty of before. Then there's the small faux pas of thanking a council that is literally on the other side of the globe. Wait, what? Is it possible to edit a post? Because multiple comments are saying that he tagged the wrong council. But I feel, but it doesn't tag the wrong council. So he might have edited the post, but obviously me not knowing how to work LinkedIn, there's no way for me to prove that. But this is just like mind-numbing brain rot buzzword gloating that he does on LinkedIn, celebrating the fact that he's going to innovate the industry. It just says nothing. All you need to know about this whole, like, again, I cannot stress enough how much it feels like this is not even real, and like I've accidentally tripped and fallen into a Saturday Night Live skit that's just become a real boy. This is the Our Story section of the 77 Ventures page. 77 Ventures are the brainchild of entrepreneurs Ketan Makwana and Michael Jacobson, each with extensive backgrounds in business, entrepreneurship, and a passion for innovation and creativity. Michael Jacobson's not been in the company for a year, by the way. It's just Ketan Makwana. Entrepreneurship and a passion for innovation and creativity. During the pandemic, both Ketan and Michael came to the realization that the creative industries were hugely impacted economically and demonstrated extreme reduction in capability. Fucking groundbreaking thing right there. That is so perceptive. COVID-19 brought a huge shift in consumer behavior and the landscape pivoted. As we emerged out of the lockdowns and entered the new normal, the digital and technology voids were clear to see within the creative industries. In 2021, 77 published a white paper, and that set the blueprint for what we have today, a platform that will accelerate the digital and technology capabilities of creative industries through sustainable investment solutions and intuitive venture partnering. I can turn all of that into one sentence for you. This company is apparently just supposed to be investing in creative industries. With what? I have no idea. But it just goes to show like how mind-numbingly pointless the words that seem to follow this guy around and this guy puts out into the world are. I mean, it's like it is world-class bullshitting, except it's not because it's so obvious. Apparently, they're planning on launching their own an equity fund that's going to invest in media. And there's like a ready to invest section where you can invest in all of 4 things, including a documentary with like some sort of weird animated cover covering 18 Indian girls as they attempt to ignite a professional football career. So in 3 years, the company does not have like a fund you can invest in and just links you to 4 really random weird things to invest in, I guess. Then when you click access info, like let's say I actually wanted to invest in this stuff, it's like a fake website. It like doesn't even do anything. This isn't real. I am living in the Truman Show. None of them load anything. I mean, this is like a fake website, dude. This is apparent. These are their venture verticals. Arts and culture, immerse reality. We've got the like oil and water type background here that was super hip like 5 years ago. Then you click on entertainment, there's nothing there. This has supposedly existed for 3 years. This company just bought a football club. There's no hyperlinks anywhere. Like, who is Sir Eric Peacock? Okay, so on Michael Jacobson's page, he is still a partner at 77 Ventures. He's also a judge at the Great British Entrepreneur Awards, a board member for the Center of the Future of Europe, and an advisory board member at the Department of Culture and Tourism in Abu Dhabi. The fuck are these people, dude? I mean, I found this Sir Eric Peacock guy, and on all of his experience on LinkedIn, he doesn't even list being on the advisory board of 77. I can't believe, I can't say this enough times, I can't believe this is real. I can't believe somebody like this, who is emitting this kind of public persona, is capable of buying a club. I would love to be a fly on the wall of this, and I cannot wait for the next episode of this. What is this? I don't even know. I'm so engrossed. I'm so invested in it, though. What is happening? I mean, if all of this is what it looks like, hopefully this sale just doesn't get approved and somebody with brain cells decides to step in and keep Inverness from ending up as a part of this shit show. But All indications is we're still rolling on, and I can't believe it got weirder from the last time I was talking about this. It shouldn't have been possible for it to get weirder, but it did.